Thank you, madam, for that lovely and clear exposition of the Jain view. And now we invite all our audience to ask whatever questions, clarifications they would like to. Open to the house.
Good evening, ma'am. I would like to ask a question. So I like all the principles. Sir? Anand Kumar.
Anand Kumar.
Yes, yes, sir. Please go ahead.
So, ma'am, I like the principles you stated here, and those are universally true. But I have one question. Let's say if somebody attacks over me, then by following the path of non-violence, how do I save myself? Let's say one community is totalitarian, means they want to capture over the other people's resources because of being in power. Then how should I save myself using this principle of non-violence? As a whole individual or a community or the whole group of the people who are following the Jain. Am I clear with my question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's a very good question. Yes. Talking about non-violence when there is an attack over oneself. So, for example, now first we have to understand what is this attack? Why is this attack from? On what basis are they doing it? It's just for the namesake or the community based or from religion sake? Understand that first. Next, once we come to know the motto behind it, think over it. If I'm reacting towards the same way what they are doing, then what's the difference between them and me? So take the steps which are completely different. Example, you can say, by just not overreacting to those situations. Understand that my level of reacting will really make a change over there. If that being the cause, then I have to react accordingly. If that change, if my reaction doesn't cause any change, then what is the point of reacting? Let me create a silence which create a cause in, which creates a difference in them. That is the most important aspect at individual level. Whereas at communal level, we can say all come in unity, talk, understand the situation, what is it, and then work accordingly. I think that will be the best way. I hope I have answered your question, answer.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Welcome.
Ma'am, in your talk, most of the time you are talking about a personal being or in touch with the personal being and fighting against a personal ego, the disputes within the person, especially you quoted about jinnas. But in the current situation, the social hate is spread through a communal factor. A group is attacking the other group, especially when there is a religious hate is happening, as per the topic of our discussion, religious hate. It is a group activity, it's not an individual activity. Now, as a Jain perspective, how you can defend this group? What are the ways you can have this group activity, not looking at on individual level, as a group level, as a what do you call a religion as a group, or the believers as a group, or how do you react to such situations, or how can you create another group so that we can spread peace, harmony, and justice among the people?
Yes, sir. Very good question. Yes. Talking on the group aspect, first of all, I would say when we are in any group, it can be any religious group, first we should be sticking on to our principle. never give away our principles. As I said, ahimsa, anekantvad being the principle of Jain perspective, let us stick on to it and form a group of such thing which really conveys the message through non-violence, and make the opposite group to understand from the reality aspect as why are they doing it? What is the benefit out of it? What are they going to achieve at the end result of it? When these things are discussed and portrayed, I think it will surely affect them, and hope this will come to an end. The kind of disputes among the religion aspect will come to an end.
No, can I come in, madam? With the same question, I think it's a very, it seems to be a very narrow, a very simplistic solution to non-violence, to the hatred that is being spread and all that. Why do I say this? Continuing from the same question, the hatred in volume, if you see, is monstrous. Whereas the individual self, the individual Jain who is enlightened is very small in proportion. It seems to be too idealistic to only pray for conversion and to become self-aware, and the other person will become an example. I think you need another kind of a mechanism by which this rampant violence can be countered. Only through self-awareness, only through being aware of it and praying that, it will become kind of a meditation. I become aware. Our realization community, not only Jain community, any community, is very small people who really believe in non-violence method. So I think there has to be some other mechanisms by which we can counter this. Only by meditation, prayer, I do not think this will solve the solution. Because a nation is fighting against a nation ruthlessly for years together. What are other countries which are enlightened doing to Russia, for example?
Yes.
I'm not only talking about our country, I'm talking about the hate violence which is there throughout the world.
Very rightly said, sir. Very rightly said. Now, that's what I said. When you talked about Russia, why is this happening? Why they want to overtake some other country? All these things is happening when their views are not matching each other, when they don't accept the other's viewpoint. So that is what the question comes in. All these conflicts, disputes, why does it arise? When the viewpoint and where there's no, connection between the thoughts of the thought process of the people. And that is the main thing. If the people or the president of both the countries sit together and talk that these are the conflict, these are the issues, let us sort it down. Then where's the point of this war and, rigorous violence and everything? So that is what the things have been misunderstood. At the individual level, if at individual level itself, these things has been clear, it would have not lead to that communal level, that big disasters, that big violence, hatred, which is seen now, which is reflected in all the newspapers and everywhere, TVs, televisions, everywhere we can see how they're literally blasting things, blowing bombs. So all is the misunderstanding over here. When this misunderstanding is clear, automatically things are fine. So what happens? Individually, the person is not ready to understand the other's viewpoint. At simple aspect. If that is clear, if somebody go sit and talk and make them understand, I think very soon we can see a very peace in the whole world, we can see. That's why they talk more about individual aspects on meditation, because this will work when one is really controlled over self. Even talking to such people, they should have the quality that how should I talk? How can I change their mind from negativity to positivity? Because it's all completely about the environment, how we stay, how we live. If that is in the positive aspect, positive vibes, I think automatically things will work out. That's why Jainism more concentrate at the individual level. Okay, sir.
Yes, interesting.
I'm not fully convinced about that, because I feel spirituality is a very narrow road compared to the other sciences, politics, and other things are too huge. And I think this individual ahimsa is too narrow a place for this, I feel.
Why we talk more about individual? It's because when we talk about the happiness and the bliss, it can be experienced only through self. And when we talk about the group, then there doesn't come in the true happiness. Then it will be all like on only on mutual understanding. So that cannot be enjoyed by all. That's why, sir. Thank you. Yes, any other questions?
Maybe in this context, we can also think of the struggle in the race struggles in the US between black and white. And at that time, it was mentioned by the American leader who followed the ahimsa. Martin Luther would emphasize when they told him, we need to use hatred to face the hatred of the whites. He said, no, hatred against hatred will only lead to more hatred. We need to have another mechanism. And that is non-violence, where you take the hatred on yourself, which is very difficult, and transform it. And that is what I think Gandhiji also did in our country, where he would face, he would not run away from the situation, he would confront the oppressor and take the hatred, but in a non-violent way. So then the oppressor went through a conversion process and started asking himself, what am I doing? Am I destroying my own humanity? I think that is the kind of process that brings about lasting change. But of course, when as an immediate solution, it is difficult because there's always the risk of being wiped away. But I think that is the only, unless people have courage and you have large groups of people being mobilized to think that way, things will change.
That's true, sir.
Anyone else who's that connecting to it? Anyone else wants to ask any questions?
Can I ask one more question?
Sure.
Yes.
So
Mr.
my
Anand?
point of view is that unless until there is a commonness in the individual understanding on the religious basis, like Christianity has a kind of theology, Hinduism has a kind of theology, and Jainism has a kind of theology. Unless until all the end points come to a single point and we all people agree with the philosophical discussion that this is the truth which all the people should follow as a common principle, till that time there will be conflict, because I may understand my God to be the superior, my ways of understanding the God is better and true, and I can think that others ways is a kind of fake, or it is man-made, or it does not lead to the ultimate perfection. Till that time there is going to be the conflict. It is as per my understanding. So I think that there is a need of intellectual philosophical discussion to come to a final conclusion that this is the only right way, or there may be the various paths, but they teach the same principle. Then at that point of view, if all the followers of that particular section or the cult believe in their leaders, okay, although we have the various ways or the paths to go to the same goal, but still, because of the individual differences, we are ready to follow our path, let others follow their own path, so there won't be any conflict. This is my understanding and opinion. I may be
Yeah, that's
not
rightly
fully
said,
correct.
sir. That's rightly said. Again, one thing what we can understand is, let it be from any background or any religion. The first thing what we all have to understand here is we all come from humanity background. That is more important. As a human, first we should know to respect each other. Though whatever the religion may be, whatever philosophy may be, or whatever it is. When we start respecting each other, that itself will remove a lot of conflicts. 75% of conflicts is clear over there. Secondary, based on religion, it is individual's freedom, whether to follow, not to follow, how to follow. Because any religion, they never talk on hurting others, harming others, or creating conflicts. That is the main motto of all the philosophy of all the religion. So that's where even the Jainism says, Anekantva, that is a multidimensional viewpoint. Please understand the reality in every aspect. So this will remove the conflicts among the people. And that is what the importance goes on.
I think we also need to realize that nature itself is multidimensional. We don't only have one color in the rainbow, we have 7 colors. And that adds to the beauty of life. Every individual is different. Every individual is unique. And I think if God has created us different, we need to accept difference and promote it, rather than see difference as threatening.
Well said. Yes, admin has raised your hand from Nagaland.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Good
Yes, I
evening.
would like to say, as a Christian, we should not cling on only on the Christianity. As you said rightly, it is the human, respecting humanity is very, very important. And God also never said, I am belongs to Christian, I am belongs to this. God says, God, who am I? So I think we, even Christians also should think God is not only for Christian, he is for God of the humanity. So
Correct.
I think I agree for it, because we should not think he is only for us. God never said. God said salvation for all humanity. So I hope everybody should be respected equally. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your wonderful feedback. So you're on mute, sir. Yeah.
Anyone has any reflections to be added? Then before we come to the end of our program, there's just one announcement first.
There is already a feedback form is given. It is to help us as well as to the speakers to understand how effective the session is and to include more, because the number is less. We have a request from many corners. We need to improve more and more people knowing about it. So what are the ways you can improve the number so that the program reaches to many people? So I have kept a feedback form. If you have time, maybe it will take around 3 to 5 minutes. Please click on it and fill it. Thank you.
So as we come to the end of our session this evening, first of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Sunitha Jain for her very clear and lucid presentation on the Jain view to promote harmony and peace in our world. Something we all realize is very important, very basic. I also want to thank all the audience. I know this is the beginning of Deepavali and many people are caught up with the Deepavali celebrations. But as someone pointed out, today when you celebrate Dhanteras, this is the real wealth, having a proper, clear vision of life. Well, that will help us to understand what life is all about and have the proper values as we proceed in our celebration of life. I also therefore thank the audience and ask you to spread the word about these kind of sessions we are having. I also want to thank the management both of SISR and St. Vincent's College of Commerce for this joint venture. And of course, Gilby sir, who's my right-hand man for all these programs. Our next program will be on the same topic. We will listen to the Sikh perspective. That is on the 12th of November. 12th of November from 6 to 7:30. We will listen to the Sikh perspective on the same issue of how to deal with violence. So I want to thank all of you who took time off to participate in this. And thank you and good night and God bless. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
sir.
madam.
Thank you for the giving wonderful opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank
Ma'am,
you.
the feedback form is not given here.
Yeah, I'll keep it again.
1 minute.
Share in the chat box.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.